apparently, that she was using a fake ID to get into clubs and blah, blah, blah. So immediately I just didn't like her. I judged her based off of that. I judged her before I knew her, because being a 21-year-old coming into the nightlife scene and getting to know all these people.
Said just because there's so many people talking about it, and they don't have all the facts correct, so I needed to get on here and just let everybody know what it was. So come to find out, like, the reason Victoria got the management position when she's underqualified, because we all know she only made like $500 a night in sales, and she literally sells drugs to tables and herself for $500 to tables to go home with them, is because she's the manager, Michael. They've been buddies for years, and she's also dating the head of security, and I guess she's still to Meme. Who knows? I think she has like 80 fuck buddies. Like, she's literally community pussy all of Salt Lake City. So, I mean, who hasn't, honestly? I've decided that I still have a lot of people that think that I work at the club specifically because managers named Victoria are telling people, and even coworkers, that I was still working at the club for a very long time. I tried my best to give the club the benefit of the doubt. I was even supposed to meet with one of the managers for coffee today, and he stood me up. So this is literally my final straw with the club. I don't work there anymore because there's a lot of shady things going on with the club. One, I feel like they're stealing our money. There was several nights where there's a lot of situations where us cocktails would make almost $1,000 and would only leave with like $300 for the day. Our money at the end of the night, and our paychecks was about the same every single weekend to the dollar amount. So it didn't really add up. Honestly, the main reason why I don't work there is because Victoria Novak has been a hater of mine for over 6 years. It goes way back to when my boyfriend was really good friends with her boyfriend back then. And I guess her boyfriend was my good friend and allowed me on the stage at Moose on her birthday, and she held a grudge against me ever since. She honestly would literally message every single body that I would hang out with on social media and send them, I kid you not, a paragraph this long of hate about me, asking them why they're my friends, asking them why they would hang out with me. Not only that, but she really caused a lot of problems between me and my ex-fiance. While I was pregnant with his baby, she was always hanging out with him, trying to convince him that I was just not a good person. The real problem that I have is with Ross. When Victoria was telling us cocktails that she wanted to steal the manager of 3 years' job, I went directly to the boss and I let him know that I was worried about my job, that Victoria clearly does not like me. And that's exactly what happened. She stopped scheduling me like the first week that she became manager. She only scheduled me one day, and I made it very clear to her that I needed to work every day so I could pay my rent. And she continued to only schedule me once a week, and gradually not at all after the second week. The very last straw that I have is literally last weekend. I went to the club with my girlfriend, VIP, and my homie to the table, and they checked my ID at the door. They knew exactly who I was. I filed unemployment well over 2 months ago, and I was just in the club 3 weeks ago. The manager, Michael, let me in through the back door. So when I went in with Victoria's former fuck buddy, Tamim, to his VIP table, she ended up getting jealous and having the security yank me out of the club and physically assault me. I literally have it all on video. The excuse was that I filed unemployment against the club. So, but I filed unemployment 2 months ago and I was just in the club 3 weeks ago. So, I mean, but now all of a sudden it's a problem that I'm there with your fuck buddy. After the third week that I was not scheduled by Victoria, I went in and picked up my last check, and I asked Ross and Doug why I was not being scheduled. They could not tell me for the life of me as to why I was not being scheduled. They started making up excuses like I was too aggressive and asking for tips, but I would think that if that's a problem, you would sit me down, and that's what write-ups are for. That's why you write people up and you give them warnings and you let them know, not just ignore them and let them wonder for 3 weeks. That's not professional at all. And not too shortly after Victoria had me kicked out of the club last week, I got text messages from a texting app number calling me a whore, saying no whores allowed in the club, ha ha ha, don't come back here again, blah blah blah. So after all that, come to find out that Ross and Doug are actually lying on taxes and not claiming any of their employees. Claiming that I made less than $3,000 the whole year that I worked there. That doesn't make sense, right? So not only that, but the Utah Labor Commission has informed me that Victoria is not listed as a trained or legal licensed manager for that club. So she's actually legally managing the girls, and so is Michael, because he's actually not listed as a manager either. Ross and Doug are listed as the managers, actually. So the people that view your stories the most are always at the top. And look who that is. Victoria. I honestly thought I would feel bad for, like, literally, talking drama about the club, but it's really not drama. It's really like bringing awareness to a very public situation that just happened. Like, they publicly threw me out of the club, so I need to publicly address this. Like, not only that, but I'm not the only one that, like, has been fucked over by this company. It's been several people for several years. And, like, now I have several different people, like, texting me, like, thanking me for, like, being the voice. And, I feel good about it. And I'm glad that I was able to give you. So Victoria was actually married like years ago, and she cheated on her husband, like full blown cheated on her husband with a club promoter, because she's literally a club groupie. The club promoter caught her cheating on him by posting herself on Backpage, spreading her pussy and ass cheeks for $200, literally. And like, I know this for a fact because when I worked at Button Down and Button Up before, when I stopped working and when I was pregnant, she asked me to get escorts because she wanted to go hang out with guys from the club. And like, the professional escort that I provided her with literally only hung out for $200 an hour. She didn't do anything. But Victoria was completely naked and drunk and fucked the guys and stayed all night long for $400. That's not how you escort. Literally, the definition of an escort is someone who accompanies you socially. They exchange their time for money. The definition of a prostitute is someone who exchanges sex for money. So Victoria's a full-blown prostitute. My ex literally planned for her to fuck her way to the top of the club just so she could fire me from my job and get me kicked out of the club, because that's genuinely the type of people they are. And here's text messages to prove it. So yeah, because he was causing problems with me and my friend at the club, I told my ex that I would get him kicked out next time he tried to cause problems. So him and Victoria decided to fuck her way to the top so she could get me kicked out of the club, literally.